Hello, everyone. This is incredible. I'm so excited to be here. Today, we're going to talk about agentic growth hacking, which is, by far the most important and the most exciting topic in the space. I would love to make sure that you guys can hear me. So I'll just make sure that I'm typing to somebody asking if it works. Just because it's not very engaging over here. Cool. I think we're pretty much good. Let's make sure that it all works. Okay. Okay, I think we got it. We got it, and I'm getting feedback that you can hear it very well. So my name is Miki Haslavsky. I'm the founder and CEO of Enso, and I've been working on this webinar for a pretty long time because this is the essence of what I am and my team are doing pretty much every day, all day long. And basically, the idea of this webinar is to guide you through one of the most exciting and the coolest concepts we basically have access to, which is agentic growth hacking. And I first want to say what agentic growth hacking is and to guide you through all of this. And for that reason, I'll share my screen so you can see a little bit of what it means to hack growth and what it actually talks to. Okay. So agentic growth hacking, we at Enso, which I'll talk about later on, are basically dealing with this every day. But I want to take you to a very short, very brief history of marketing. In 1994, on a browser called Netscape, which was founded by Mark Andreessen, there was the very first banner that went online, the first banner that was sold for a couple $100 and was counting clicks. Who can guess what was the click-through rate? So how many people that visited the page actually clicked on a banner like this? I'll give you exactly 5 seconds to think about it because it's not a very engaging environment and I can't hear you. But if you can guess, it was 44% of the traffic. That means that 44% of the traffic that went into this website clicked on the banner. This is incredible. Think about it. 44%. Who can guess how many those banners are getting today? So banners that are going on a website or going on any platform. How many people are clicking on those banners? 5%? 10%? 3%? The answer is 0.3%. 0.3%. That's it. The reason this is extremely important is because what we're seeing here is a huge decline over like 30 years of experience. I want to give you another example. Okay. In 1994, if you would send an email to somebody and you would ask them to, get in touch with them for a specific reason over a cold outreach strategy, 39% of the people would actually reply. That means more than every third email would reply on this specific cold outreach. Who can guess how much is this today? If I would think about it, I would basically say maybe it's about 2-3% before I dived into this. It's 1%. That's the holy grail of cold outreach. That's like getting an incredible result. The reason I'm telling you all of this is because we're seeing channels that used to fade for years, right? It took banners to fade about 30 years. It took cold outreach to fade about 20 years. And this is insane. And you could basically use those banners, use those cold outreach for many, many, many years, for a very long time, for your business, for your brand, as a way to promote whatever you're doing. But today, it's changing completely. And it's changing completely basically because of density, which we'll talk about in a second. But every new channel that pops up in the world is fading out extremely fast in months. So 2023 was the year of webinars right after the pandemic. It went down to zero almost, which I'm doing a webinar right now, but it went down to very small numbers later on. Instagram Reels was an important channel, faded out in just a few months. Podcasts, and I'm talking about like advertising. I'm not talking about like media channels. Went down to a very, 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 very short period of time and very, very, very low density. Communities, same thing. So what we're seeing here over and over again is the channels are becoming packed, very dense, and then they're basically losing their momentum in less than a year. And this affects everything we're thinking about when we're talking about marketing, because you cannot really rely on a specific channel anymore for a long time. And you cannot really understand how to build a budget or how to build a strategy into something that is so iterative. And the reason by the end of the day is density. Okay? When I'm talking about density, I'm basically talking about why does it take so much time and why does it take so many brands to hit one specific channel, and then basically this channel is losing effectivity because nobody wants to look at this. Nobody's looking at reels anymore as much as they used to. Nobody look at webinars anymore as much as they used to. So you're looking at density. Many brands are using the same channels over and over again, and they're losing their effectivity. It's happening because today you can build anything in just 2 minutes. You can open up your Cloud Cod, you can open up Lovable, you can open up Replit, you can open up Base 44, you can open up any of those platforms and launch any other business that you can think about in literally an hour. And how you can see this working is that if you look into the earning reports of this large, huge companies called Google and Meta, you'll see that they're experiencing the most demand they have ever experienced. And the reason they're experiencing this demand is because competition is everywhere. We're all basically competing for the same type of channels. And that's why they're dying in a very short period of time. Agentic growth hacking is basically the solution for this, for the idea that we're dealing with a new world of fast, iterative, different channels that are becoming dense very, very, very fast, and that you need to use iterativity. I don't know if I can even say this, but use the iterative manner of testing new channels extremely fast. And when I'm looking at this, the only way to find a playbook that works is to think about marketing like cybersecurity. Now, why cybersecurity is a thing in this case? The reason cybersecurity is a thing in this case is because when you're looking at offensive cybersecurity, right, what hackers are doing, they're trying to find loopholes, right, in different algorithms and different software or hardware or even just systems and exploit them to attack a specific surface. Now, if you're thinking about this, each and every one of your ads or platforms or anything you're trying to promote is running also on different feeds and on different platforms that are also run by algorithms. And so, for that reason, if you're taking the offensive cybersecurity playbook and you turn this into what they can do with cybersecurity, but on marketing, you're basically inventing a completely new, super fast, super iterative way to find attention loopholes and basically do growth hacking with AI agents. Now, the way to think about it, and the way we're thinking about it, and we're using LinkedIn here to basically talk about those incredibly cool concepts. That attention loopholes are pretty much everywhere. The hard work is to find them, right? I mean, you can use LinkedIn ads or boost posts, but you can also think about communities as a way to grab attention. You can also comment on your ICP's LinkedIn posts to grab attention. You can also create very cool and different posts to grab attention as well. And what I want you to understand from all of this is that each and every one of those platforms, if you're thinking creatively, can be exploited. And I'm putting, quote unquote in this because it's not really exploiting, but thinking outside of the box and finding ways to grab attention from your ICP, from your potential customer, from whoever you want to grab attention from. But you have to be extremely quick because others are doing the same thing. And AI agents are incredibly well designed to do that. I want to show you one of our experiments of what it means today, so you get a little bit of a glance of, how does it look like in practice. So I'm sharing my screen, and for some reason my YouTube has been um, um, turned off. So I'll open a channel. Um, okay, that's perfect. So let's give it a shot.
LinkedIn gives your post about an hour to prove itself. After that, the algorithm moves on. All of the posts that explode on LinkedIn have one thing in common. They won the first 60 minutes. So we ran an experiment. We wanted to know what happens if you flood that window with real engagement the moment a post goes live. We built an AI agent that registers every new post across 11 cross-promotion communities, Slack groups, WhatsApp threads, Discord servers, and LinkedIn native groups the second it's published. Real people, real reactions, concentrated inside the first 18 minutes, with indistinguishable comment quality under blind review, because that's where the algorithm is most sensitive. Reactions in the first 18 minutes carry 4 times the weight of reactions arriving later in the window. Across 24 posts, median reach lifted 143 times. One post hit 412,000 impressions. Same account, same type of content, posted at the same time of day. The only variable was the first 60 minutes. The algorithm isn't broken. It's doing exactly what it was designed to do. AI agents just learned to feed it what it was already asking for. For the full research, visit enso.bot/research.
This is a very cool example to what an AI agent can do that a human being can't. And it's a completely new type of marketing that we're thinking about, because an AI agent basically discovered a new channel, and it uses, hundreds or even thousands of communities to flood engagement in a specific window, so your content explodes on the algorithm. So the algorithm is basically thinking, hey, Mickey just wrote something that is completely viral. I have to help him get more people into this. This is a great example for something that an AI agent can do, but a human being can't. And I want to share my screen again and show you another very, 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 very cool experiment that we did, that will basically show you another angle of something that an AI agent can do as a growth hack, but a human being. Okay, here we go. So this is another really good example for something that an AI agent can do, but a human being can't, right? Because no matter how smart you are or how fast you are, the chances of you actually going and reading 60,000 Wikipedia pages looking for what the type of citations they're basically having. Sorry, somebody's calling me. Let me put this on mute, even though it is. Cool. So even though you would have the chance to actually read a few articles on Wikipedia and then maybe edit them, the chances of you actually figuring out how to read all of those pages and find the citation gaps. Okay, I'm getting lots of calls for no reason. Let me check why this is happening. I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm getting feedback that you can't hear the videos. I will make sure that I am fixing this right now. Let me check that things are getting easier, and I hope this time it's going to work better. So we'll now learn for another growth hack that we're going to talk about. Sorry, we had some interaction here. Let me check. So we're going to talk about the last
hardest thing
pretty much, and I really want to make sure that it's working, and I hope it is, because we do have some delay over here. Just another growth hack that we're going to talk about that is going to be all about Reddit, which is one of the most cited sources in the internet today.
about AI writing isn't tone, it's voice. Not sounding like a chatbot is easy. Sounding like a specific person in a specific community, saying what that community would actually value. That's the hard problem. So we built an AI agent that speaks exactly like us. Then we tested it in the one place on the internet where fake gets caught in 3 words: Reddit. We picked 11 subreddits adjacent to our expertise. We had the AI agent read the full visible history of each one, roughly 2.1 million comments, until it understood what each community rewarded and what it removed. Then we let it participate. Every comment added real value. No links, no product mentions. The result, 87% of the AI agent's comments survived 14 days, approximately 40 times the rate of typical commercial content on the same subreddits. Other users began tagging the account in "Who knows about X" threads. Reddit's community didn't just tolerate the AI agent, they treated it as one of their own. That capability didn't exist a year ago. It does now. For the full research, visit enso.bot/research.
Okay, so I got feedback that you couldn't hear the previous videos, so I'm going to roll them again. I'm sorry for that. It was just a technical issue, probably. But this is a great example, again, for what an AI agent can do and a human being can't, right? Because you can't, as a human being, just read 2.1 million comments online and just to have the context about a specific thread or a specific community, or what are they talking about, and to be an expert that actually provides value in a subreddit community. By the way, when I'm talking about Reddit, it doesn't mean that Reddit is the main target here. You can talk about LinkedIn, you can talk about Discord, you can talk about Slack, you can talk about basically about any community. But our attention as human beings is very limited to what we see and hear and the time we have. AI agents are scalable in a way that you can basically exploit those places in a very, very, very creative way that you couldn't probably do otherwise. Now, I'll show you the 2 other growth hacks. I know that we had a technical issue, so you have a little bit of more idea of what you can do. And then I'll guide you through practically how to do that, which is, I think, the most important part, because all of these researches are out. We're posting them online, so you can read them through, even copy them to your OpenClaw and give it a try by yourself. But I do want to guide you through what it actually means to finding them and how to think about those very, very cool ideas of growth hacking. So I'm sharing my screen again. At this time, I'm going to show you, 2 growth hacks that I already showed, but this time with volume. So I think it will be much more exciting. So let's give it a try. Okay, we got this. LinkedIn.
LinkedIn gives your post about an hour to prove itself. After that, the algorithm moves on. All of the posts that explode on LinkedIn have one thing in common. They won the first 60 minutes. So we ran an experiment. We wanted to know what happens if you flood that window with real engagement the moment a post goes live. We built an AI agent that registers every new post across 11 cross-promotion communities: Slack groups, WhatsApp threads, Discord servers, and LinkedIn native groups the second it's published. Real people, real reactions, concentrated inside the first 18 minutes, with indistinguishable comment quality under blind review, because that's where the algorithm is most sensitive. Reactions in the first 18 minutes carry 4 times the weight of reactions arriving later in the window. Across 24 posts, median reach lifted 143 times. One post hit 412,000 impressions. Same account, same type of content, posted at the same time of day. The only variable was the first 60 minutes. The algorithm isn't broken. It's doing exactly what it was designed to do. AI agents just learned to feed it what it was already asking for. For the full research, visit enso.bot/research.
So again, we're looking at a specific surface, which is a window of when you're posting on LinkedIn. And once you're posting on LinkedIn, basically what we found, an agent basically found, that in the first 18 to 60 minutes, there's a window in which when you're flooding this window with engagement, the algorithm converts this, or like translates it into a viral post. So you cannot do that. I mean, you could do that manually, right? You could send your friends, hey, you like my post or comment on my post. But what an AI agent does in this case, it finds like 1,000 different communities and says, hey guys, I just posted about something incredible. Please join me for this specific matter. Help me to promote it. So it's a very human experience, but it works extremely well when it comes to scaling this as a channel with an AI agent. So I'll take just one another, just because we had that technical issue. I'll take just one another surface to talk about, and then we'll move into the practical part, which I think is the most exciting.
The internet has a new gatekeeper. Millions of people are now asking AI who to trust, who to hire, which company to choose, and AI doesn't make those answers up. It pulls those answers from the sources it trusts, and the most trusted source on the internet is Wikipedia. So we ran an experiment. We scanned Wikipedia for pages its own editors had flagged as incomplete. Dead links, citation needed tags, stub sections. We matched those gaps to research 9 brands had already published. 62 edits went in. At day 30, 14 were still live. That's a 23% survival rate, 23 times the baseline for promotional edits, which Wikipedia deletes inside 24 hours. 3 of the 9 brands started appearing in ChatGPT and Perplexity answers within 6 weeks. One brand's stub page now ranks first in Google for its entire category. The mechanism isn't new. The only edit that survives is one whose value stands on its own. We didn't beat the gatekeeper. We fed it what it was already asking for.
So again, a very, very cool surface. Nobody can basically edit Wikipedia. It's extremely hard. They have manual editors, a community from all over the world that would probably block you from anything promotional. But when you're looking at the platform asking by itself, like to get something, right? I'm missing sources, I'm missing content. And then you feed this content at scale and you let it just flood with value. I'm not talking about spamming, I'm not talking about anything like this. With real value, what people are actually asking for, then you're basically using AI to help the world get whatever it wants while enjoying this attention or this specific surface as a way to promote your brand or whatever you're doing. So I'm going to share my screen right now. We'll keep on with the presentation, then move to something a little more practical. And I'm not sharing any more videos. So this time, at least, we won't, suffer from no volume. So I want to talk a little bit about what are AI agents. And the reason this is important is not because I think you don't know what an AI agent is, but I do think that we need to be aligned on the term. And AI agent is just a piece of software. It's a new type of software because we did not have anything like this before. It's a software that can act on your behalf on the internet. That's basically what an AI agent is. It's not an automation. It's not an LLM. We will talk about all the platforms and everything behind this. But by the end of the day, the cool idea of an AI agent is that it can iterate extremely fast on your behalf. And the reason this is important is because we as human beings have very limited time to learn new stuff, right? We have to spend time on the core of what we're doing. And if we're doing marketing and growth, we're going to use the playbooks that everybody else are using because it's easier to copy than invent. And I think what's cool about the concept of AI agents is that you can outsource them to learn for you. And we'll talk about this in a second. So this requires a very bold mind shift. And the reason it requires a bold mind shift is because we previously used to think about software as something that helps people to achieve goals, right? So before, people use software to get work done, right? You would use Monday.com, you would use Fiverr, you would use Gmail to send emails. But today, software becomes something new. There's a completely new software that we need to think about, which uses other software to work for you, right? So you're writing something for an AI agent. It can be OpenClaw. We'll talk about the different terms in a second, but it doesn't matter if you're using LLM, your Claude, your Kimi, your OpenClaw. By the end of the day, you're using it so it can use other software for you. And this creates a whole new world of possibilities that we never had the chance to have before. Now, when you're thinking about it, there's, of course, 2 ways to go about software. One is to build your own software, which was not very popular up until AI because, for known reasons, now you can just vibe code whatever you want. But then the other thing was, of course, to buy. So you could go to monday.com, click on the number of seats that you really wanted to have, and then to just buy whatever another product manager decided for you. The reason this is extremely important is because you can customize the type of work that you want to talk about to your specific needs. If you're looking at 99, maybe 95% of the cases in the world today, you're going to see two types of AI agents in production. One is called agentic workflow. And the idea about agentic workflow here on the left side is that you can basically use AI in specific steps of the workflow, in specific steps of the automation, to think when it needs to think. But you define the steps. So you go to your AI agent and you say, every day, go and clean my Gmail. So remove any email that has the word promotion or newsletter or ad, and do it every day at 8 a.m. in the morning. But then the other way around, there is another type of software, which is less popular because of its complexity and some of the risks that it comes up with. It's the autonomous agent. And the difference between those two is that on the left side, you are defining the steps, right? So you're going to your Gmail every morning, 8 a.m., you're selecting specific emails and then deleting them. Autonomous agent defines the steps using AI. And this is a whole new world because, LLMs are not deterministic. So that means that they're coming up with completely new ways every time you're asking for something. But in this case, you're going to say, instead of clean up my Gmail, you're going to say, hey, I want my Gmail spam free. And I added marketing specific ideas or like examples here that you can look into. On the left side, you're going to see write an SEO post because you have a skill or something and you have a template every day. Scan for tags and views and post it at 8 a.m. in the morning. And then on the right side, you would say, hey, I need organic traffic from SEO. Using my blog on WordPress, you go crazy, dear OpenClaw or Hermes or whatever you're using, and you just do whatever you want. The left side basically means I know what you need to do, I just don't have the time to. The right side basically says I don't know what to do. And I want to spend a little time on the right side here because every cool experiment that I just showed you that we're doing internally, we're basically using an AI agent to iterate extremely fast on each and every one of those channels and surfaces to find those attention loopholes, to find those holes, and then to exploit them for marketing. This is very, very cool because we're not saying we know something that you don't. We're saying we know how to use autonomous agents to find opportunities that other companies would probably not find. And this is an extremely cool concept because we're, number one, finding super cool ideas and opportunities. But second of all, we're using AI to outsource learning, thinking, and basically iterating. And this is the number one opportunity that I see in AI agents, because if you do that for yourself, the possibilities are incredibly wide open. Every AI agent has 3 layers, and I'm not talking about the electricity. I'm not talking about data centers. I'm not talking about anything below the LLMs. But everything that we're using has 3 layers. Layer number 1 is LLMs. And while we know LLMs is something that is very popular, right? We're talking about OpenAI, or we're talking about Claude, or we're talking about maybe DeepSeek, or we're talking about Gemini. There are, I assume, like thousands of other LLMs that you can use, that some of them are more designed for specific ideas or specific data that can be great for like specific marketing roles. The second layer, which I think is extremely important, is the platforms. We'll talk about it in a second, but platforms are basically the idea that you can build AI agents in different ways and matters. And if you think about the 2 types of AI agents that we see in production today, agentic workflow is just code, a script that runs every time something happens, or in a cron job, that means like a specific time of a day. And an autonomous agent is just a completely different beast, a completely different type of AI agent, which I'll show you in a second. And the third part, which is, I think, the most fascinating part, is the tools. So for an AI agent to achieve something, it needs tools. It needs email, it needs scraping, it needs payments, it needs whatever. So it can help you find new stuff that you couldn't do by yourself. So LLMs, ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude. I do want you to know about Open Router as a way to discover cool LLMs. So if you're going to openrouter.ai and you click on models, you can find thousands of different models to talk to. Some of them are from China, some of them are from Germany, some of them are from Russia, some of them are from Iceland. I've seen all of those. And the cool thing is that as long as you're not very, careful about security and you're not really doing anything that is extremely special or has like very sensitive information, price matters a lot, and you really want to make sure that you're optimizing for price and you're optimizing for brain, and you're basically trying different LLMs that are not the popular ones that we all know, which is Anthropic, OpenAI, and Google. Of course, the other three are super cool, and you can keep on using them as well. But I would definitely iterate on other ones as well, and not only just do specific popular ones. When we're talking about platforms, I want to tell you something about. I don't care what are you using to build. It doesn't matter if it's Claude Code, if it's Lovable, if it's LangChain, if you're more codish, or you're using Claude, which I'll show you in a second, which is like a hosting platform for AI agents. But at the end of the day, the platforms that work, the platform that works best for you is okay. All of them are basically doing the same. The one thing that you need to make sure you're basically making the distinguish off is, number one, you're looking at Claude. Claude is a really cool platform that allows you to basically open a new Hermes or OpenClaw AI agent. And they're basically, it's like DigitalOcean, like the cloud hosting, but for OpenClaw and Hermes. So the reason this works for me is because you don't need to download this to your computer. You just use it on the cloud. And when you're using this on the cloud, it's very, very cool because there is no security risk at all. Now, the idea of those autonomous agents is that you need an AI brain, you need memory, you need different parameters, which I'll not get into. And you cannot achieve this with a scripted agent. So you cannot, tell Claude Code today, hey, just go to whatever, learn how to do A/B testing on your own page, because it's probably gonna have a little bit of a problem. But the third part, and this is pretty much all over the internet today, is the tooling part. Tooling is an extremely important piece of software, because for your agent to be able to execute something, it needs those skills, those capabilities. We have one of our researchers calls it superpowers. So think you're building this as a way to make your AI agent just much more powerful. And those companies and platforms are pretty much everywhere, but they're basically trying to mimic what we as human beings are doing in the agentic world. So those are usually headless pieces of software that are allowing your AI agent to have a specific capability. And I want to give you an example because I really like Agent Mail, and I'll show you how it works. So Agent Mail is an email inbox for AI agents. And if you have an AI agent, and for example, you want to test a specific very cool concept where you are building an AI agent that will get you to speak at podcasts, right? Like a specific, like be a guest in specific podcast series. An inbox would be great because an AI agent could basically send emails on its behalf, not on your behalf, on its behalf. You can give it a name, Louis, and Louis will send emails to different podcast hosts and say, hey, I want to be a guest because I do X, Y, and Z. And instead of actually trying to connect it to your Gmail and then figure out how to do that, it can have its own email, have its own priorities and sorting. And the only way that you would think about it is that you would just tell it, hey, I want an email for you, Louis, and please take a look at this. Now, the way to install each and every one of those tools is just to copy the documentation, which all of them actually have. So I would definitely take a look at this type of software. If you want to find more of those, there is, I have a very small venture capital fund that invests specifically in agentic tools. So those tools that are giving you the capabilities. And I have a very cool tools section on here where you can basically find different tools like this, and upvote, by the way, if you like them. And if you're looking for memory or you're looking scrape data online. And if you're thinking about payments and if you're thinking about search or all of these stuff, you can basically go into this website or send your AI agent with an MCP, and basically get all of these tools directly to your AI agent. Now, I'll stop sharing my screen and I want to summarize a little bit of what I said, and then to maybe show you how do I think about agentic growth hacking when it comes to doing this internally. And by the way, before I'm getting there, I would like to share on the screen right now a QR code, and this QR code basically gives you access to our research on Enso. So many of the research that you would probably think about, such as cold outreach or Instagram dabbing or Reddit or Geo or Wikipedia or all of these, are basically open. We're opening them up completely, so you can basically copy them and do whatever you want. So I would definitely scan the QR code and go to our website. And if you want to read those, I would definitely go through this. It also shares what type of technology we're using, if it's Hermes, if it's OpenClaw, if it's scripted agent, what type of tools. It's a very good way to learn about agentic growth hacking, but also a very good way to understand what it actually means to build something like this. So we talked about a concept, it's a new concept, we couldn't do that before, of outsourcing thinking or outsourcing iteration to somebody else. And the way to think about it is, first of all, when it comes to marketing, it's of course to start from the ICP and whoever you're selling to, which is like the basics. But the way to think about the ICP is to say, okay, so I have a potential customer and he's probably somewhere, right? He's somewhere on the web and I don't know where he is. And there are two ways to go about this. Number one, you can use an autonomous agent such as Claude, which I'm happy to share if I can. Let me check if it actually gives me the ability to. But think about this specific AI agent and say, listen, here's who I want to sell to. Okay, I'm selling to plumbers in New York City, Brooklyn. And let the AI agent iterate on specific surfaces until he gets some attention of those people. And this is very, very cool because you as a human being, you would probably spend like a week figuring out where are the plumbers in New York? How do I get their attention? Am I sending them SMS? Am I, going there and like waving a flag? How do I grab the attention of those people? And here you can say, hey, I'm going to use an AI agent. He will do the whole thing for me and he'll come back with a conclusion after testing like 10 different hypotheses on the marketing part. And this is very, very, very cool because it gives you the ability to do that in leverage. Now, I'm talking about one AI agent, but you can run 200 AI agents that are running 200,000 different experiments at any given moment. And so for that reason, you have the ability to have an army of people in a very, very, very short window of time, just trying different channels over and over and over again. And this is very, 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 very cool. The second part is to think about, I know what is my ICP. I know that I'm like, for us, Enso, we're selling to CROs, CMOs, we're selling growth hacking services, startups, larger companies, whatever. The other way to go is to say, I know where they are, right? I know, for example, the CROs are really great at spending time on Substack, right? Substack is great. They're learning lots of marketing stuff there. They're reading tons of content. Now I'm saying, hey, Mr. Lewis, OpenClaw, Hermes, whatever the autonomous agent is, go to Substack and just kill it. And when I'm saying kill it, I'm not in a negative way. I'm saying find every possible way. Just iterate on the comments, on the logins, on the RSS feed, on the follow, on like any behavior, and let me know once you get an attention of a specific customer. It gives you signals that you probably would spend, I don't know, months on as a human being in just a week. And I want to tell you a story before I'm jumping into something more practical, and then we'll end this up. I have a podcast, and I'm telling the story all the time because I think it gives a very good explanation of what an AI agent can do. I have a podcast, and my dream, like number one dream, is to have Ray Dalio, the founder and CEO, not the CEO today, but used to be the founder of Bridgewater Associates, one of the largest hedge funds in the world. And I'm a big fan of the guy, admiring him big time, very eager to learn from him, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I consider myself a pretty well-connected person. Generally, I do usually have a pretty good network to get to people. But in this case specifically, I tried everything. I talked to friends, I talked to colleagues, I talked to investors, I talked to anyone. New York, Israel, San Francisco, like whatever, London, everywhere. And nobody had a direct connection to the guy. And at some point I was like, okay, it doesn't work. And I have to do something about it. So I did. And I asked my open claw, which name is Louis. That's why I'm using Louis all the time. And I said, Louis, listen, I have a very big dream and I need you to work towards helping me figuring it out. And the big dream is I want to get Ray Dalio on my show. And he said, okay, what do you want me to do? And I said, here's all the tools, right? Email, phone, whatever, memory, scraping, like all of it. Here's all the tools you can use. Use them as you wish. Your goal is to get me to Ray Dalio. And for about 9 days, like a week, it iterated on like weird stuff. It was like, yeah, I sent a message to his son, but he did not reply. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I understand that. And then he was like, "Yeah, I sent them a message on Contact Us," and he was like, "Hey, it doesn't work, dude. Like nobody responds to this." But then it started thinking, and it's very very cool. On day three, it tried something like, "Yeah, I found like a forum or something where people who work at Bridgewater, they can connect us to him." And I was like, "That's a good thought." Long story short, day 9 was a day when it realized that there's an alumni community of people who used to work for Ray Dalio for like 30 years, like close to him at Bridgewater Associates. And it sent an email to all of them. All of them is like 30,000 people or something. It's a huge list. And one of them replied and said, "Hey, Mickey, I'm curious and I would love to help you get to Ray. We used to work together for many, many years, and he's very excited when it comes to podcasts and AI and etc." I would never even think about something like this. Like that's the cool part about this story, that I could outsource thinking to an AI agent, and I use the memory of AI agent to basically say, "Hey, here's what I need, and here's what I would do." So when we're talking about autonomous agents, I would definitely use Claude just because it's very, very cool. They have a new interface that they just literally started yesterday. But you can create your own agent and deploy it on Claude. So that basically means that you will be able to host it and then connect it directly to your Telegram or WhatsApp or whatever. But the cool part here is that whatever session you want to start with Claude, you can basically send a message to him and say, here's what I'm trying to achieve. Here's what I'm doing, and here are all the tools which I would definitely take from Autonomous Capital because it gives you access to different tools. Just have the ability to do that, and the iteration part will basically give you the ability to learn stuff that you would never learn before. Now, I will of course give you the ability to play around with this. It's pretty straightforward. It gives you the ability to just see which agents you have and then chat with them in a very clear way, like just very straightforward. But I would definitely really 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 do have the opportunity to do that because it gives you something that you would never be able to do that to do before. So as a summary, we talked about the idea that there's a completely new type of marketing that people could not execute, perform before. Like you could not find those cool places. Like it's impossible. You could not do Wikipedias. You cannot do Reddit and read 2.1 million comments. So you need to be aware of this because this is the only way for you to bypass density. And density basically means bypass other channels where other companies are already playing. And so you want to find growth hacks. You want to find new ways. Second thing is that you can build it by yourself. And we have research out on enzo.bot/research and YouTube. And you can just learn to do it by yourself or buy it from another company such as Enzo, which I'm not promoting, but I'm saying, as a service. And the third thing, which is the most important part, is that people are thinking about AI agents all the time as a way to automate what they already know. I'm saying, listen, think about AI agents as a way to automate not knowing. This is the very, very cool part of it, of agentic growth hacking, because you can deploy hundreds of those agents with Claude, with Lovable, with LangChain, with all of those platforms, and just let it learn for you and come back to you with a conclusion. And this is the coolest part about AI agents. Just to give you a short glimpse about how it works at at Enzo, you go to enzo.bot and you go to our website, and once you're clicking on research, you basically have the ability to see not only what we're doing, but how we're doing this. So you will put your email, and then it will give you a one-time password, and then you can read those. We also have a summary of those on our blog. So if you're touching those specifically, they're open, and you can read them for free. And it will give you just a little bit of idea of which tools we're using, how we're using them, what we're doing, like how does it look like. It will just give you the ability to find new channels that you would never see before or would never actually think about before. So it's a great source of inspiration. I think the one thing that I'll tell you about as a story, just from my experience, most of our customers are using Claude, right? It's very straightforward. It's easy. They're using this for whatever they wanted. So we asked ourselves internally, could we ask an AI agent to create a very, very, very cool and valuable skill for Claude, and then ship it on GitHub and see how many people we can get to? So we did, and it worked extremely cool. We created AI Copywriter, which is a non-AI-ish, like it doesn't sound like AI, and also knows marketing. It's like a merge of two GitHub projects. And the reason this is very, very cool is because we posted it and we asked the AI agent to promote it as well. And the way it promoted it is just started deploying it into all the awesome tools, all the lists of tools on GitHub. And literally in like a week, and I was posting on this on my in my community, it got to almost 1,000 stars. And for like doing absolutely nothing, it just deployed all of it into like lists. So now we decided to do the same thing with lists. So we created an awesome list of growth hacking skills, and it also got to like almost 1,000 stars. And the reason I'm telling you about this is not because I'm bragging. I'm just saying there are hundreds of different channels that you're not thinking about. An AI agent can think about them for you, but the idea that an AI agent can think about it for you is just a huge mind crack that you need to go through. And once you have it, and you're saying, "Hey, I'm not thinking anymore. I'm not researching myself. I'm using AI to amplify thinking," this becomes one of the coolest cracks you will ever have as part of your career. And in marketing specifically, it can give you the ability to just plain completely blue oceans that you would never get to before. Thank you so much for the opportunity, whoever listened. It's the first time I'm doing this on LinkedIn. So I hope you've enjoyed it. The idea was to just try to give you a very small glimpse of how agentic growth hacking actually looks like in practice. Enjoy it and stay in touch. Feel free to add me on LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram or whatever.